Hey guys, welcome back to Armory in our video series on body armor. So you guys, if you guys are watching this, you watched the first body armor video, which was plate selection, and we went through which plates you should select and why you should select them. The second video we did was plate carrier selection, so features of plate carriers and why you kind of want to choose the plate carrier that you're choosing. And the third video, which is we're filming right now, is plate carrier setup. So what you're setting up your plate carrier for. Now, I mentioned before that plate carrier setup is a very odd video to do because I wanted to do this video series because every video I looked at was like, oh, well, you know, it all depends on what you want, and this is how I set mine up, the way I set mine up. And that's not really what I was looking for in a plate carrier video. And then as I started researching plate carrier setups and plate carrier videos, I realized that there is a reason that all those videos are like that, that's because that's how it is. I wish I could say, hey guys, this is the plate you should buy, this is the plate carrier you should buy, and this is how you should set it up. But the fact is, everybody has a different mission set, everybody has a different goal or task they want to accomplish. And I do want to give one disclaimer out. These videos are pre-recorded. So when we recorded the first two videos, I made a bunch of jokes about Russia invading. And I think I said something to the effect of like, well, this is for like, you know, if Russia's invading and, you know, that's never going to happen or something like that. So we filmed all those and I kind of made those jokes before the invasion of Ukraine. So when you go back and when I release these videos, we recorded those videos with me not knowing Russia was going to invade Ukraine and all this mess was going to be happening. Also note the blue and yellow lights. Woo, go Ukraine. So that is something I kind of did not knowing what was going to happen. So I think a few times I said, you will never set your plate carrier up like this because, you know, that's for like, if you look up and it's red dawn and you see parachutes in the sky. That is obviously something that has happened now. So it's not an unrealistic setup, and there are probably people in Ukraine that wish they did have that set up. So if that's something that you're preparing for, and you're just that type of guy, and you've got a bomb shelter and all this stuff, and you're preparing for invasion, you might want a heavier setup. But really what I wanted to talk about is, I've kind of boiled it down to two different types of setups. And you've got like for me, I've got like a heavier setup, and then I've got like a lighter weight setup. So a heavier setup, I have, the reason you would go with a heavier setup is if you're not planning on moving. This is a shelter in place, better for like shelter in place, being maybe even in a vehicle. So this carrier's from Prime Armor. It's got a lot of cushion in it. We talked about this in the plate carrier videos. It's got an area for side plates. So I have level 4 Prime Armor in here. It will stop a armor piercing 30-06. It'll stop green tip. It'll stop all those scary rounds that you definitely don't want to get shot by. It's got level 4 side plates, 6x6 side plates. I have it loaded out with 3 rifle mags, which is pretty much standard, you know, and if you're in like a shelter in place situation, you're probably gonna have a battle belt. I suggest having plenty of medical. I don't keep medical on this vest. I have plenty of medical in backpacks. I've got med kits on my person, which I would suggest you doing. I've got med kits on a belt. I've got medical everywhere. So I'm not running any medical on this carrier because it is a shelter in place style carrier or riding in a vehicle, something where you're not having to move a lot. You've got a full, you know, 3 loaded magazines, which is really heavy. The carrier's heavy. It's got, we talked about this in our plate carrier setup video, but it's got zippered backpack panels. It's got Velcro. You can attach placards. You can attach whatever you want to this thing. You can really weigh it down if your goal isn't moving. If your goal is to move, mobility, you know, and Sean said this in our last video, mobility is life. And this is kind of, and again, I'm saying this full well knowing that Russia's already invaded another country, but this is This is probably a more extreme measure. I don't believe that this is something that is needed for the everyday civilian. I just don't. But I have it, you know, like I'm not knocking it. I have it. If I were to look up and see parachutes in the sky, I'm making this joke again. This is a kind of a loadout that, you know, I'm kind of going to shelter in place first. I'm not going to immediately resort to like living in the woods and eating squirrels. I want to make sure that I'm protected. I want to make sure that my family is protected. And I would be, if I'm not planning on traveling, I would be putting on level 4 armor with a big heavy carrier like this. I would have my carbine. I've got my mags in the front. I've got my medical. And that's kind of what a heavier carrier set would do. Now, there are some companies out there like Cry Precision that make carriers that are based around basically a chassis that really supports like that kind of weight, because some of these military guys are running, you know, heavy loadouts, like super heavy loadouts, and they need that kind of support. I don't need that kind of support, but you are talking about a carrier that probably weighs, with plates and ammo, near 20 pounds. And if you've never just put on 20 pounds and hiked, I highly suggest you do it. You will learn very, very quick your limitations. You don't want your loadout to exceed your body's capabilities. If you are buying body armor and determining your loadout, take in consideration the amount of time that you spend exercising and the amount of cardio you're doing. Grab this and run up 6 flights of stairs. Like, just do it. And then see how out of breath you are. And now being like, okay, I got to hike 10 miles. I promise you, you're going to be throwing these level 4s in the woods, starting with your side plates. And then you're going to be like, oh, I'm fine with just a chest rig. I just won't get shot. Just dodge bullets. It's easy. So that's kind of what I would say for like a heavier setup. Just try to think about what's practical for you. And I kind of made this blanket statement in the previous video. Most people watching this video, myself included, don't need a full carbine loadout, 3 mags, like all this ammo. Your goal should be to be low vis, and Sean said it in the video, covert, not overt. You know, you got to decide whether the situation's calling for you to be overt or covert. And in a heavier setup, you're not trying to conceal anything. It's already going down. You're backed into a corner. You're whatever. You're in your house. Parachutes are falling from the sky, whatever. You need that level 4 armor. You're not planning on like hiking 10 miles. You need all your ammo on you. Just go ahead and know that that is a overt type setup. What we mostly need, and I'm speaking to probably everybody watching this right now, a more practical setup for the everyday person is something slim, something lightweight that you can move quickly and you can conceal under a jacket. This is what we experienced during all the riots the last couple years, when people were getting shot in their vehicles, people were trapped in their apartments. There was shooting after shooting. There were store owners being shot and dragged into the streets. Something where you are in traffic, and this is why I decided to get into body armor, is because I took a wrong turn and I got stuck. And it was like, okay, like somebody could easily come just shoot me and I would have nowhere to go. So that is something that you can keep in your car. You can keep in your trunk if you can get to just a quick, safe place. You could throw that on. You could throw a jacket on over it so you don't look like aggressive or an aggressor. And people may not even know that you have a vest on, but you have that protection. You have that peace of mind going into it. So that's kind of why I have something set up like this. So this is the Ott Gear plate carrier. I actually have 2 of these. You can see this one down here in Ranger Green. This one is kind of for fun, but still definitely serves a purpose. So as you can see, I keep the front very, very flat as possible, because I notice when I have it on and I put my jacket on over it, it kind of looks like I have boobs or a really big chest. So there, you could definitely tell that there's something under there. So I stripped off a lot of stuff. I even took off the placard. Basically with this one, it's completely flat in front and it's heavily medical centralized. This is for me to slip on and get to somewhere safe, me to slip on and keep in my car with a jacket over it so nobody sees it, and I have my concealed carry. I either concealed carry my SIG P365 XL, and I always have a Glock 19 on me. Even when I'm concealed carrying my my appendix carry P365 XL, I always have a Glock in my backpack, in my glove box. I'm never without my Glock. So basically with this setup, all I did was add a couple extra Glock magazines. I carry 2 in the Glock already. I've got 2 extra that just live in here. And the rest is medical because, and again, in my backpack and everything, I have multiple med kits. So this is medical to keep on my person, extra medical. I have 2 tourniquets in here. I've got chest seals. I've got trauma shears. I've got a knife for whatever reason. I've got combat gauze. I've got wound packing gauze. I've got another tourniquet here. I've got an Israeli bandage back here. All of this is to save my life or somebody else's life. If I'm in a situation where I want to be covert, I don't want to be carrying a big carbine plate carrier all decked out, and I've got like all my mags and everything, and I'm walking down the street like, you know, I don't know, just trying to be like some hero or whatever it is. Like, this is my goal for this, is to make sure that nobody can really see me, and I just kind of slip into the shadows and I remove myself from the situation. That is what this is for. I've got some special threat, a level 3, I can't remember what I put in here. They're either RMA level 3s or, yeah, they're RMA level 3s. So it's level 3. I'm not planning on taking, I'm not planning on taking any rounds to the chest. But if I do, I'm in those situations, and what we've seen, most of it was like, the worst case scenario we saw was like AR rounds, which level 3 will stop unless they're using green tip, which that has a chance of getting through it. Most of those shootings were handguns. You know, you got more chance of getting clapped by like a high .45 Cerakoted in $100 bills than you do somebody's like sitting up in a building with armor piercing 30-06. The goal for me with this is to be lightweight, to be covert, and to move quickly. Most of you guys have seen my winter bag video, and I carry this jacket with me all the time. This jacket absolutely covers this completely. It's lightweight, so if it's summer, I'm not like sweating profusely, just like, and 2, it looks out of place, right? Like even in summer, if somebody's walking around with like a really light wind jacket, and you know, it could be sprinkling outside, they could work in a colder office. I see that stuff all the time. What looks suspicious is it's 100 degrees and somebody's walking around with like a big thick winter coat. It's kind of, or a trench coat or something. You're like, okay, wait a second, that's not right. So this jacket fills that perfectly. I mean, it's not uber tactical looking. It's just a Columbia rain jacket, something you wear to go fishing or camping or whatever, and it covers this completely. And nobody would know I have this on. So all these videos saying, you know, just come up with what you think you need. This is one of the few general statements I'm making, is that you absolutely, if you're watching this video and you're just worried about everyday civil unrest, riots, whatever it is, even in your home, this would protect you even in a shelter-in-place situation, even though it may not protect you against, you know, like something heavier like that. The only reason I suggest something heavier like that for shelter-in-place is because you're going to get the most protection. Although this probably still would work just fine. So that's kind of my thoughts on having an overt setup and a covert setup. Obviously, a lot of people don't have the money to just go buy 2 full setups, and that's fine. I would suggest you starting with something like this. If you don't have the budget to dish out for like 2 sets of plates, go ahead and get like your 1 set. And then if you're married or whatever, try to make sure you have maybe something small that you could slip, on your loved one. Make sure that you guys are trained in the medical. Make sure that you guys know how to use the medical. Make sure your loved one knows how to use the medical so she can or he can use it on you while you're there. Another thing to consider is maybe getting a setup and then maybe making it kind of convertible to anything that you might need. And I'll give you an example of that. So this is my Ott Gear setup. It's kind of like a mid-weight setup. It's got level 3 plates in it. It's light. It's mobile. They're shooter's cut. Not hard to get in, but no side plates. And I have it set up for rifle mags. So when we do this class, we're going to do a plate carrier class. It's basically a carbine class, but it's based on your plate carrier. So you'll be doing reloads from your carrier. You'll be working around barriers. You may have to get prone, and you're going to feel where you keep things and how they affect you when you're in a bad situation. And that's kind of the whole goal for it. But let me just show you this real quick. So most carriers on the market, they kind of utilize just a heavy Velcro system. Typically what you're going to do with like these Velcro systems is you're going to put your mag pouches, and I say mag pouches, they can be used for whatever. You could stick medical in here, you could stick pistol bags in here. So this will be like this, you'll throw it on over your head and you'll wrap this in nice and tight. And you'll be able to pull it tight, right? Well, what you can do is buy your 1 plate carrier. You have your setup, you have your lightweight setup, your mobile, but let's say you're the type of person that carries a carbine in your car. You've got, your lockbox or whatever it is, you have it, and the situation is bad, like really bad, and you feel the need to grab your carbine to kind of bug out. Have multiple placards. So this is Ott Gear's placard. It came with the Ranger Green setup that I bought. And all this Velcro, it's like, you know what? I do want my 3 mags with me, with my carbine. Like, it's that bad. That's all you got to do. You can have multiple placards. You can have a medical placard, and that's, you may be out of the situation. You may maybe see multiple people down. It could be something like the Boston Marathon bombing. That guy's back in the news, where the situation has already ended. You throw this vest on because I don't know if there's a secondary device or if somebody's going to start shooting or whatever. But in that situation of like the Boston Marathon bomber, I wouldn't need to feel the need to grab my carbine and my 3 mags and everything like that. So what I would do is keep a medical placard. I know people are down. I've got my vest on. I have the skills and ability to go in and actually help people and triage and help do all this stuff. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab my medical placard, throw it on here. I've got extra medical. Then I'm going to grab the medical out of my backpack, the medical out of my car. I'm going to put on my battle belt, and I've got my IFAK there. I can help easily 10 people. Each one of those medical kits have 2 tourniquets in it. But you see what I'm saying is like the situation is going to dictate what you do and how you set things up. So all of that to say, I think for us as normal civilians, as just normal guys, I think that a lighter weight, more mobile setup is perfect. I think that you can move easily, you can throw a jacket over it, you can be discreet, you can remove yourself from the situation. And then as you do that, you can build up other placards. You can, instead of buying a whole new setup, you can have a medical dangler. Then you can get, other Velcro attachments like this, okay, I need my mags. I need my AR. There's like 30 dudes all just shooting people for no reason in the streets, and they're coming to me, and I can't get out. I have to defend myself. I've got an AR or whatever. Boom, throw this on. Oh, it's more of a bombing situation where the situation is dissolved. The threat is dissolved very quickly, but there's a mass casualty incident. Cool. Throw my medical placard on. Let's go. You can have a placard for extra pistol mags. You can fill these with anything you want and kind of have like a setup for whatever situation you might see yourself in, So that's kind of my 2 cents. It's one of those things where it's really hard to sit here and tell somebody what plate carrier they should get, or what plate they should buy, or how they should set their stuff up. And it's just hard to do because I don't know who's watching and where you live and what threats you normally deal with. If you live out in the country, you're going to deal with a different threat than if you live in an urban environment. And so that's why we tried to kind of base these videos on, these are features of a plate carrier. When we talk about plate carrier selection, these are just features of what we're talking about, things that you might need or might need to know about before buying a plate carrier. For sure, plate carrier setup is one of the more difficult ones to do, but I hope I helped you guys. I hope that you kind of see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about having a heavier carrier versus a more lightweight carrier. So we're going to be giving away a bunch of this armor. We've got Prime and RMA armor. I'm going to be giving away some level 4 multi-curve from RMA. I'm going to be giving away some level 3 from Prime. So when these videos are released, there's going to be 5 videos. You need to like and comment and share on all 5 of those videos. If you do that, you'll be entered into the drawing. Your odds of winning are pretty good. So definitely do that. Definitely go comment. And comment below about what your setup is. Comment where are you from and why you set your stuff up the way you set up. It can help other people that are reading. You may not think it might help other people, but other people reading the comments might be like, oh, I never thought about that. I never thought about cold weather and multiple layers, and I never thought about, living in an urban environment or rain or whatever. There's just things that may be normal to you. Other people that live in other parts of the country or different environments may not have thought of that because it's not normal to them. So comment below, tell me what you're setting up or what you would like to see as a setup, and why you would want to do it that way. But anyways, make sure you guys like and comment. I'm going to give you guys some body armor, and the next video we will be at the range. We're going to do some plate carrier operations. We're going to have Sean from Exoteric Group showing you guys how to reload from your plate carrier, the best way to set your mags up, the best way to kind of orient things so that you're faster and more proficient in your shooting. We will also be doing a class on this. It's going to be I said this early in the video, but we're going to be doing a class just to make sure that everything is, that your gear is vetted and that you are put in uncomfortable situations in your gear and you really know where you need to make improvements. Or if you're just good, you're like, man, I hit the nail on the head. I did everything perfectly. That's great. That's what we need to see. So the next video, like I said, we're going to be doing plate carrier operations, and then we're going to shoot some plates. We got some really cool ammo from Buffman Range. Send us some cool ammo. We're going to be just shooting these plates and seeing what gets through them. We're going to shoot them with what they're rated for. But it should be an interesting video, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys next time.